I'm going to show how I boost SFK. For runes, we're using Mental Dexterity, Shield Mastery, Maelstrom, Earth Shield, Spirit of the Alpha, which probably could just use Decoy, but I never bothered getting it because I didn't play much last phase. Overcharged, this did just get a nerf, so the ICD is now 3 seconds instead of 1 second, which means your kill phases are going to be a little bit sketchier, but probably totally fine. Your kill time, honestly, is carried by this. And then I run Molten Blast. You can technically run Lava Burst as well. Yeah, starting now. Because I run Alpha, I just throw it on one of these guys, target myself for this, and then I give myself Wind Fury so that I can generate more Maelstrom. So we're going to start off. This is all pretty straightforward. You can face tank this no problem. As far as my gear goes, pretty basic gear. I have a few Prebus items, a couple of new pieces from the Sun of Temple raid. I got this thing. I'm not sure if it's helpful, but I dropped Scarlet Commander's Crest, which is just the SM shield from Cathedral. And this has 3% block, so it seems pretty good. And I can go over my talents at the end, but I genuinely don't think talents matter. I was doing this boost in my two-handed enhancement spec. So ideally I have full Maelstrom here, so I can Chain Lightning here and get all 3 of these mobs a little bit faster, but you don't really need to worry about your speed here because we're waiting for the NPC anyways. If you're running Nova Instance Tracker, there is a setting to get access to breaking his dialogue and doing it faster, so that's why when I went up to the doors, I just quickly touched all the handles, etc. Here, normally you'd loot and there'd be a bunch of greens. I just use group loot for my boosters and charge 5 gold because they can recoup some of their gold, potentially get some of the blue BOEs, and then I don't have to worry about clearing my bags as much. When you're in this room, for this opening section, I don't really worry too much about min-maxing my totem usage, but throughout the run, you will be managing your Earth Shield, making sure that that never falls off, because that's how you keep yourself topped. I use my Maelstrom procs during the run to go and collect mobs. The route that I'm doing here doesn't really matter. I kind of just float around and make sure that none of these patrols are running away. Let's see, my Earth Shield dropped here. It's not the end of the world just yet, but I will start now that I have a good chunk of mobs and they can kill me if I just hard AFK. I'll start dropping my Earthbind totem. One thing to note about Earthbind is that it will grab aggro on mobs you're not in combat with, so it's always worth making sure that when you drop it, you're already in combat with everything around you. Here, you can Chain Lightning. I sometimes get it from in the room, but I'm talking, so I'm probably scuffing the run a little bit. But see, you can see here, I don't have my Earthbind running, and I'm taking damage. It's not really scary, though. We're just going to auto some mobs here, Storm Strike some mobs, and once you jump down here, you can heal yourself to full. Collecting this room is not a perfect science either. Ideally, again, you have full Maelstrom, because then you can go and pull these mobs in here easier. But yeah, so now we're going to jump up here. This part's not totally necessary, but I like doing it just to keep things a little bit safer, and if you don't have much gear, it probably helps. But I get full Maelstrom, and then I switch to Overcharge, and then this is when you do your kill phase. I'll wait a second, and I'll drop my Fire Nova Totem, and then you can kind of just stay AFK here. These mobs will die on their own. If you want to kill them a little bit faster, you can. This is where the nerf hitting will matter, and running Maelstrom will matter, because then I'll jump down here, and I'll use these heals more often, because this pack would not be as close to dead, right? It would be probably, I don't know how long I've been in combat here. It says, 15 seconds on details, but it'll probably be a 30-second kill time instead. I am going to spam click to loot here. Ideally, there's some greens for the group, some blues and stuff. We got a couple bosses. So in this room over here, there's 2 mobs in the doorway, which we pull earlier. And then there's the boss and the 2 mobs in the kitchen area. After you kill them, there is also another pat, which will come through. So you have time to loot and then grab the pat. And then for the rest of the dungeon, you want to be maintaining Earth Shield and Earthbind. You never really want to drop it because then it makes the run scarier. See, we got a blue here. We just greet everything, and then if the boosties get it, it's not really a big deal. And I'll explain what I do with the loot afterwards. I did just clear bags. I'm just running all 14 slaughters. But loot has not been an issue. This is another good opportunity where you can Chain Lightning. these mobs in here, these Willing Guardsmen, these are going to be what will brick your run if you're not careful. It's not the end of the world, but they do put a silence on you. And if you don't have Earth Shield up, or it's about to lose stacks, and you're in the later on kill phase, then you can definitely screw your run and end up dying and stuff. And it's embarrassing. You have all the people that are getting boosted. And they're like, hey, what the fuck? So yeah, we pull this stuff. These bats are probably going to back into this room. I don't know why, but for some reason they bug and do that. This Deathsworn Captain, he has a tendency to be really annoying, so I try and kill him as fast as I can while I'm running. If you can't get to him, though, it's not the end of the world. He's just a rare spawn. Again, just dropping Earthbind, keeping our shield up. Up here, sometimes there's a good opportunity you can Maelstrom some stuff and pull faster. But this part of the run, you're going to be taking a ton of hits from the mobs as they path around. It's not really the end of the world. As long as you have some decent-ish gear, you shouldn't die. I have 2600 HP. I'm not using Way of Earth. And, I don't have an issue. I was not able to pull him easily, so we're going to pull up here. So this part of the dungeon, you're 100% going to want to get to full Maelstrom. So what I like to do is I plant this here. My Earth Shield fell off, so we're going to open that up. And then try and farm up a full Maelstrom. Now at this point, all the mobs coming up the stairs are hitting you, so you want to try and make sure that you're actually getting blocks off, because that'll reduce a lot of the damage you're taking. When you get to like 60% health, you'll throw yourself a heal. I just got disarmed, which isn't a big deal. But now, at this point, because I'm tanking up, I can face tank this. Now, some of these Willing Guardsmen can still silence you, so it can get a little bit risky. I've definitely been in a situation before. I don't know why I would have just decided to path back. Sometimes that happens. It's annoying. And then this guy will show up. He has a bubble, so sometimes I like to try and cheese him. By getting his health low enough, and then I'll throw like an Earth Shock on him so he doesn't use his bubble, but it doesn't always work out perfectly. Yeah, see, he bubbled there right before I was going to Earth Shock. But yeah, so those silences, those will fuck you. You have to be careful if you're not super geared. I'm not sure if that green shield, this thing with the 3% block, if that's helping. Because I definitely did notice that like between my runs tonight and last night, that I was staying alive much easier. We're just going to loot all this stuff. Not really a big deal if we get anything or miss anything. I don't really care. Don't care about being full health here. You don't need to stop to heal because your Earth Shield will full heal you. There's only one mob here. I do go all the way to the end here. Respond to this guy. I do go all the way to the end here, so the pugs do appreciate getting some of the boss loot, and also you get a few extra bits of XP. Boss XP is pretty high. I don't really care too much about, it's just one mob following us, and we're just trying to get to Aragal's room. As far as debuffs go, none of this shit really matters. Your Earth Shield should keep you more than topped. When you're in this room, you can just tag this guy, it pulls all 4 wolves, then you can switch to Overcharge, Nandos, and you start killing them. Pretty straightforward, not really scared about my health at all here, you literally just face tank it all. Now, I've noticed that these mobs have a higher chance of greens, so it is worth sitting here and spamming the loot, unfortunately. This run I didn't get anything. Down here, you don't need to be afraid, you just pull everything. I just keep overcharged on, I'm not going to die. Aragal's pretty straightforward, you just hit him. Sometimes your camera will bug out here and do this, it's a little bit annoying, but whatever. I don't know if that gets fixed until like Cataclysm. But yeah, this is another period of time where like, that last full, having the overcharge bug, we're going to have to see how it affects the run. If it is pretty bad, then we're going to have to potentially go back to a Fire Nova kill, and you're going to have to kite all the way back to that initial platform. But now the run is done. When I'm running back here, normally what I do is I use my D-Junk tab. There's a few items in here that you're going to want to drag in there, like Healing Potion, Mutton Chops, all the different food, the white items that you get from some of these bosses. None of this matters for loot. After you do like 15 runs or so with a group, your bag should be totally filled with greens, blues. Wool cloth on my server is worth selling, so I'll usually keep that, but I do destroy all the linen as well. This is just to speed up the process of like not needing to worry about loot, not needing to worry about repairing. I know some boosters will like have a lockout side and they'll vendor everything each run and summon back. I think it's a waste of time. Like you're netting like, you know, maybe an extra gold a run, but if you have 4 boosters, you're making 20 gold a run anyways. So yeah. But yeah, once you get up over here, you hit ready check. Some other macros I find helpful. I just have a macro to post my boost. You can just run off the roof here to reset. And yeah, that's like a 9-10 minute run. You can also, if people have issues with lockouts, I'll post all of this information here. It's just a reminder to people that says like, hey, this is what you do to reset your lockouts since they don't matter. No problem. Let me know if you want any more. So yeah, if you have any questions about this, just leave one in the comments or let me know. Otherwise, I'll go and see if I can do Cath.